All right, hey class. I am just gonna record this quick video on how to just set up a basic Photoshop document. So really quick, when you open a new file, you'll see a screen that looks something like this. Big things you'll notice: you can change your size. Over here, if you don't want it in pixels, you can do inches. Very similar to Illustrator. Change your print, all that fun jazz. Over here, you can change your color mode. Notice you have a little bit more options than in Illustrator. You can make a bitmap, grayscale, RGB, CMYK, or lab color. We're not going to touch any of that stuff in this class, but if you're interested in more of that stuff, take graphic design or graphics too. Other stuff you can see, we have different backgrounds, so you can make it black, transparent, anything along those lines. For now, I'm just going to create a blank document. What you will see now is a whole white screen. Looks very similar to Illustrator. What I'm going to do first is, just to make sure my window looks exactly like yours, I am going to hit Reset Essentials. We kind of talked about resetting essentials in the last assignment, doing your windows. You do not have to do that, but I'm just doing that so I have a base set to go off of. So I'm gonna go ahead, just go to the internet. Let's just Google, I don't know, dog. I'm gonna find a dog image that I like. I'm gonna use this as like my example for all these tools. Copy image, and I'm just gonna hit Command V to paste that dog in. So unlike Illustrator, this has pixels, so it is a raster program, so you will have to consider pixel quality. One way to see what a pixel quality is going to be: when you go to Google, when you hover over an image, you'll notice there's a couple numbers down here. This is your pixel quality. You're going to want to make sure your pixel quality, I usually say about 1,000 by 1,000, but anything less can be a little blurry. All right, I'm just gonna go quickly through all the tools over here on the left and how to use them. So if you hover over any of them, it gives you like a quick tutorial. First is the move, right? You guys have seen this before. You can rescale, move them around. Sometimes you have to hit this done button. Sometimes you have to hit this check mark before you can be done and off of that. We'll talk about these selection stuff in a minute, but let's look at crop tool. You can basically adjust your artboard size, so if you want to make sure it's fitting to the exact size of your image, you can do that. Well, I'll skip the framing tool for now. Eyedropper tool works very similar to Illustrator. You can see up here on the right, when I'm clicking on a color, it grabs that color. We'll talk about patch tool later on. Brush tool, if you want to color, this is a lot different than the one in Illustrator. It allows you to actually draw. You can set the opacity, the flow, hardness, all sorts of stuff all up here. So if you're interested in drawing, this is the tool to use. Eraser tool. This is the one tool you never use in Photoshop. The reason: anything you do, anything you erase, is permanent. You cannot undo it unless you use Command-Shift-Z. If you want to get rid of something in your image, don't use the eraser tool. Instead, we're going to mask it. Masking is non-destructive editing and allows you to edit an image without fully editing, like removing stuff. So these selection tools, we can select part of our image, and when something is selected like this, we can hit this, it was called the Japanese flag. It allows you to mask it, and it looks like it deleted all that extra stuff. In reality, what actually happened is it's hidden behind a mask. So over here you can see that mask. Now I'm just going to delete that mask quick. There's other types of selection tools. You can do the lasso tool to kind of make your own custom shape. You can mask that. If you want to be very specific with your masks, look at these options. Object select kind of uses AI to find the image you want, so perfectly cuts it out. Sometimes that doesn't work very well. I like the quick selection tool. This allows you to kind of click and add your selection. If you use your bracket keys, you can make your selection smaller or bigger. And say I selected too much. If I hold Option, I can delete some of those extra spots. And now I have it perfect. And then the last selection tool is the Magic Wand tool. This grabs everything the same color. So I can grab all this green, I can grab all this yellow. This is very finicky, right? Because like this brown is like actually a slightly different color than this brown. So it's not gonna grab all of them at the same time. So sometimes this is really good if you have like a clip art or a cartoon image and you're trying to grab like, or maybe a sky. But for the most part, Magic Wand isn't the best option for grabbing stuff. I like the quick selection, but whatever works best for you guys. Okay, gradients work very similar to the ones in Illustrator, right? You can change the type of gradient, you can change the color over here, you know, angles, all that fun jazz. We'll look at more stuff with gradients later on. Over here, we have the smudge tool. We have smudge, blur, and sharpen. All of these adjust how an image looks. So that's clearly the smudge tool. We can blur this image. If we just keep clicking enough, it becomes really blurry. And we can do the inverse. We can try to sharpen it, trying to make it look a little bit more crisp. Now, if we keep sharpening it, it kind of gets like that deep fried look. It's not exactly pleasing to the eye. Other options, you can do dodge. Dodge makes areas brighter. Burn makes the areas darker. These two tools are really great if you're trying to make artificial shadows. Like we can make his belly a little darker. And then sponge is for saturation. So right now I think mine's set to desaturate. So basically you can make your colors pop more, brighter, or you can set it to desaturate where it makes all your colors like really dim, like black and white, gray. Pen tool we'll talk about later. Text tool, you can put text just like in Illustrator. You can change your font if you have a custom font, right? You can download it, use that. These tools over here we'll kind of talk about later. For the most part, those are the basic shapes, basic tools. Hopefully that answers any questions. Let me know if you have any questions. Good job.